Luca, we should talk about Gabriel. Obviously, this character is really beloved and has catapulted you to sort of international recognition, which I don't know how you feel about that. I have a suspicion. But it would be really great to
I
hear
feel
sort
as
of
good
your journey.
as Penn does about his show.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there we go. That's an easy one.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear sort of your journey of getting the show. And then I'm also curious, I think the show has adjusted. I'm now going to introduce my personal theories and biases. I feel like the show in the first season was more stereotypical about French people, maybe in a negative light. And over the seasons, it feels like it's showing a fuller picture and we see more scenes in French and stuff. But
Less
particularly in season one,
I think, by season 4, maybe. Is that?
but particularly in season one, it did feel very stereotypical. So I'm also curious, how did French people react to you being part of the show? Were they mad at you? Those are sort of my two questions. What was your journey of getting the role and what was the reception in France?
The journey was actually funny. It was a month and 5 auditions, and by the last one, I started being confident. It was out of 200 people, it was only 2 of us, and they called me one morning and they were like, "So sorry, you're too green. Paramount doesn't think you can handle 5 months of shooting for your first project. It's too big for you." Which I kind of understood, and at the same time, I was like, "If you don't give me a shot, I will never have experience." And so I went into the shepherd's house we were talking about to make goat cheese and stuff, to forget about all this, and at some point someone asked me for my phone. Some guy that was going God knows where. It was like, can I borrow your phone? I need to call my daughter. And I was like, there's no reception here. And he's like, but if you go like 40 minutes away, you walk to that big rock, there's like a couple bars. And so we left with my phone, and he eventually came back and he was like, when I got service, your phone was blue, you know. That's an impression of a French hiker. And he had like 30 missed calls and messages and so on. So I got back to Paris, and before I knew it, I was at the Lutetia. It's a hotel in Saint-Germain, and I was in a room with 2 producers from Paramount, 2 writers, Darren Star, our showrunner, a director, and Lily Collins, our main actress. And we did a chemistry read, and I was so confused that I didn't know what I was doing here. And and they I don't know, they kind of led me to think that I was auditioning for other guys that she would eventually date in the show, but not the main, not Gabriel. But they still gave me the scenes from Gabriel that I knew by heart at this point. And I was like, it's a bit harsh, you know, from them to, you know,
Yeah, right.
play with the
Rub it in
knife.
my
I'm
face.
like, come on, guys, don't you have anything else I can read with?
Yeah.
So I kind of went like, I know the lines, and we did the chemistry read, and apparently, it turns out Darren Star, our showrunner, wanted me to be Gabrielle from the start, but the studios were like, he's too green, and once they did the table read with the other actor, it was like that he's not the part. He's a great actor, but he's not the Gabriel I'm looking for. So he pushed for Paramount to fly to Paris and to meet me in person. And
Wow.
and in that room I actually talked about goat cheese for 15 minutes. And
Like, that's our
yeah.
Gabriel.
yeah, and when I left the room, I was like, I can't believe what is wrong with me. And afterwards, you know, Lily told me, I think that's what made the difference. You know, it's
Right.
it's the and they called me to the next day, telling me, okay, it's you, and you're starting in 2 days. And it was
Whoa.
it went from to it was really fast.
From an outside perspective of someone who does believe in like divine forces that assist us, and you talked about that poem and like providence will enter, it seems like in a way it was your destiny, like for that man to take your phone, try to reach his daughter, let you know
Yes.
about.
Darren loves that story, by the way. And Lily still thinks I invented all of it. I do believe that, you know, when things are supposed to happen, they happen, you know.
Yeah.
They have like many trajectories, but they will happen. And I also believe that life doesn't give you what you want unless you're ready to receive it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't. I don't want to say make it, because it's a very, very nuanced. Um, but I feel like if I had experienced what I'm experiencing now, back like 10 years earlier, when I really wanted it even more, maybe for the wrong reasons, I don't know who I would be right now and how I would survive this crazy circus that this industry is.
Yeah.
So actually, can you take us back to a little bit? So we've spent a lot of time reflecting, like with so much sobriety. You clearly have, you've gained maturity and some wisdom. But so take us back to when you had less. You were newly in LA, and were you ever chasing it the way that you just kind of indicated for a moment?
It's weird because when I moved to LA, I was just I get asked a lot. So were you pursuing acting? And I didn't do anything in LA. I was there for a long time, and I was just living with nothing, and I would ask $1 to a friend every day, and go to Taco Bell because they had this 99 cents burrito.
By the way, I lived off of that burrito for a period too.
Good.
Right before Gossip Girl. When I read that, I was like, that burrito.
Yeah,
You guys had twin flames.
it's so big. It's such a big thing. It saved my life. I started working in restaurants and supermarkets and stuff like that, and I would wake up every morning and go to this website that had like announces for student films, because I was trying to get on student films and gather enough like images to make a demo and find an agent. Back when I thought agents were a necessity, and then I registered into a commercial agency, so to speak, and I did like a little commercial for a bank and a little commercial for this and that, which it helped me sustain my absence of lifestyle, I guess. But then I 2 years before Emily in Paris, I decided to drop everything and to pursue acting unapologetically, and just don't have any parachute. I feel like, and I was like, I have so many friends that wanted to do it, but at the same time still have the security of being a real estate agent or stuff like that. And I was like, I feel like if I take this as seriously as I feel it in my heart, it needs to be the only option. And for that, I took a leap, and I entered an acting school that is only revolves around benevolence and acceptance and depolluting yourself. And I couldn't have been in a school where there's competition and people are just like, and they created this tiny little bubble where you trance dance, meditation paints, and all those things. And on my last day of class, as I went out to get a sandwich, I ran into this old friend of mine who was casting director for like reality TV, but turned into an agent. And she was like, "Oh, I always appreciated you. Do you want me to? Can I represent you? I'm an agent now." And I was like, "I don't think it's the right time. I'm still studying." And she said, "I'm just going to send you stuff, and you'll tell me what you think. Yeah, there's nothing to sign, no commitment." And the first thing she sent me was Emily in Paris. And
Wow.
it just happened like that. But to answer the question shortly this time, it probably at 29 when I started to make it the only option, and then being super serious about it.